Hello, Squirrel Tribe. How is everybody doing? Let's talk about what's happened just within the last 24 hours. You have a truck driver pulled to safety after a crash leaves a vehicle dangling over a bridge across the Ohio River. You have new updates on the wildfires in Texas, plus something I uncovered that I don't think anybody else has mentioned or talked about. I could be wrong, but I don't think people have put this together. This 2 and 2 does equal 4, y'all. Also, what's going on in California. So right now you have a massive blizzard. Howls in the Sierra Nevada. High winds and heavy snow close roads and ski resorts, which is crazy because here where I am in the panhandle of Florida, it is 70 degrees and people are running around in shorts and tank tops and frolicking at the beach. And then on the other side of the country, you have massive blizzards shutting down roads. And then, not to be outdone, obviously, we have Norfolk Southern and another, not just a train derailment, but the most cluster, you know the word, thing that I have seen in the longest time from Norfolk Southern in Pennsylvania, roughly 5 hours away from East Palestine, Ohio. We're literally just a year, not even a year and a month ago. Tomorrow would be a year and a month since there was the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, the Norfolk Southern one, and the subsequent intentional release of chemicals and intentional fire that was set by the fire chief there in East Palestine, Ohio. But we really need to talk about a lot of different things. So first off, we're going to jump into this massive blizzard, just so everybody's fully aware. Like literally, it is snow there and sunshine here. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, whatever state or city you happen to be in. I would love it if you are willing and interested in letting people in the comments know kind of what the weather is doing around the country, because it is such a weird basket of temperatures. And I mean, literally a couple of days ago, we talked about the fact that 11 tornadoes touched down in the Chicago area, Chicago, Illinois area. Now you've got blizzards. So up here you have tornadoes. Over here you've got blizzards. Over here you have wildfires. Over here you have just sun and frolicky temperatures. Up here a little bit, you've had torrential downpours and severe thunderstorms. It's a little hectic across the United States, in my opinion, but this says a powerful blizzard that a meteorologist termed as bad as it gets, their term, howled in the Sierra Nevada mountains, closing a long stretch of Interstate 80 in Northern California, forcing ski resorts to shut down and leaving tens of thousands of homes without power. Y'all, 10 feet of snow was expected. The National Weather Service meteorologist William Churchill said Saturday, creating a life-threatening concern for residents near Lake Tahoe and blocking travel on the key east-west freeway. A harrowing blizzard is what they're calling it, and tons of snow. 5 to 12 feet by tomorrow will be 5 to 12 feet of snow is what they're saying. And it is an extreme blizzard for the Sierra Nevada in particular, as well as other portions of Nevada and even extending into Utah and portions of western Colorado. So from California all the way up to Colorado, you have this extreme blizzard going through. So anybody in that area, hopefully you are safe. Hopefully you are covered and protected. And if you are to lose power, hopefully you have a generator, you have your flashlights with batteries, you have your candles, and you have some sort of edible, maybe MRE food, something you can eat if you do lose power and can't warm anything up. Or you have a portable Coleman stove, which I think are great. Make sure you have propane though before it's too late. So the other thing I want to mention, which I didn't say in the beginning here, the U.S. carries out first airdrop of aid into Gaza. I read the headline and I'm not even going to lie. My first thought was so much money given to so many other people except for the citizens of the United States. We see people here that are in I want to call the area of famine because they can't afford groceries here because of such drastic inflation over the last couple of years. People who don't have jobs anymore, people whose rents are going through the roof, whose insurance prices are through the roof, and people are having a very hard time living here. Yet here we are, first airdrop of aid into Gaza, which, again, I understand that we need to help other people, go humanitarian, if you will, but it's still, this is why I'm like, I feel good and bad when these things happen because I feel selfish when I say we should be taking care of our people first, because then it makes me sound like a horrible person where I'm saying this life is more important than this life, but all lives are just as important as each other, right? However, it's not wrong of me to want our people taken care of first. That's just how I feel about it. But it says the U.S. military on Saturday, that is today, my dudes, carried out its first airdrop of aid into Gaza after the deaths of Palestinians queuing for food underlined the growing humanitarian catastrophe in the crowded coastal enclave after months of Israeli military operations. Other countries, we are not the first, we will not be the last to offer aid, but other countries, including Jordan and France, have already conducted airdrops of aid into Gaza, where the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says a quarter of the population, roughly 575,000 people, are one step from famine. I can guarantee you we have more than that here that are one step from famine, but our government doesn't really take care of our people the same as it takes care of other people's people. Yeah, that's where we're going with that. Now, this one here, I watched a live video of this. I don't remember whose channel it was on. It was a news channel, and I don't remember which news channel it was on, but I don't know if you guys saw this. This is very hard to see. Let's see if we can do this because I don't really edit most of the time. You can see there. So this is a firefighter, I'm guessing, a firefighter or somebody along those lines, right? Who is over this bridge to rescue the driver out of this semi truck that is literally off the side of this bridge, dangling over the Ohio River, which, I mean, would be terrifying as the driver. I saw this when it was live, and my first thought was, are they filming a new Spider-Man movie? Because it seemed very Spider-Man. Or is it a new Fast and the Furious? Because they've gone buck wild on Fast and the Furious. They went from guys with lowered cars who had tuna sandwiches and maybe tried to rip off, DVD players or whatever, to now CIA agents and outer space travel. Like, it's gone a little far there for me with Fast and the Furious, but that's not what we're talking about. So according to this was in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know how you're supposed to say it there. There's a different one. Louisville, right? Isn't that how you do it? Louisville. You're supposed to say it like you have a mouthful of marbles. That's how it was explained to me. So Louisville, whatever. The driver of a semi-truck was pulled to safety on Friday by firefighters. I was right. Following a crash that left the vehicle dangling over a bridge across the Ohio River. It was a 3-vehicle crash on the George Rogers Clark Memorial Bridge, which was connecting Louisville, Kentucky to southern Indiana. It was reported around noon, according to Louisville Fire Chief Brian O'Neill, during a press conference. One other person involved in the crash was immediately taken to the hospital, and crews set up to rescue the truck driver from the cab. I'm going to have to find the link to the live video where it happened. I took screenshots on my phone, but I also record on my phone, so I can't really show you because I forgot to email it to myself. But I took a screenshot of the live action of the firefighter rescuing the driver, which will show me what station it was on, and I will put a link to that. It's not live anymore, obviously, but I'll put a link to that in the description or a pinned comment of this video, because it was one of the coolest things I've seen, because my brain can remember the difference between movie and reality. Yes, at first I was like, oh, Spider-Man. But then I was like, no, this is real. This is happening right now. This is live. This is actual factual. This isn't some CGI or AI created crap, right? This is actually happening. And it's got a different kind of, like, you can feel your heart rate speed up a little bit when you're watching some heroic effort like this of a regular U.S. American citizen putting his life on the line to save the driver of this truck, who in theory is a U.S. citizen, I think. I have no idea. But you're watching this happen, and it's like, man, that's amazing that this is real. This happens in real life, not just movies or whatever. So I'll put a link to that video in the pinned comment so you guys can see it, because it was pretty epic. Now, let's talk about, we got 2 more big things I want to talk about. I want to talk about what happened in Pennsylvania with Norfolk Southern, but then I want to talk about the Texas wildfire and how, in my personal opinion, what is happening in Texas with this wildfire in the Texas Panhandle that has now seeped into Oklahoma is going to wreak absolute havoc on animal agriculture and on properties in Texas, and I'll explain that. First, we're going to go here to Norfolk Southern. So, the headline, I need you to understand. Y'all see this headline? This headline right here? Okay. It says, Norfolk Southern train derailment spills diesel fuel plastic pellets along river near Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. If that is all you read, if you only read that headline, you would not know the absolute cluster that actually happened with Norfolk Southern, because this just makes it seem like a train derailed. No, y'all, it is so much more than that. 3 Norfolk Southern trains have collided together to create this disaster masterpiece that we have here. So let me explain. If I can, maybe there's a picture here. Okay, so here's kind of a picture, and it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of whatever. But here's some pictures. Who is this? This is CBS News. But here's some pictures. You can see those overturned, and you can tell that these are ones that hold liquid or something along those lines, right? Because of the shape of them. And then you've got this whole little cluster thing going up over here, right? Let me explain what actually happened. Actually, factually. Somebody commented that in the comments. That's redundant. But somebody said it in the comments, and I realize I say that a lot, and I don't know why, and I don't do it on purpose, but actually, factually is, I guess, one of my key phrases, if you will. Brain isn't braining, math isn't mathing, actually, factually. It's Monday, my dudes, or just my dudes in general. I'm sure there's more, but I know I use those a lot. So anyway, a train derailment involving 3 Norfolk Southern trains near Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, spilled some diesel fuel and plastic pellets along the Lehigh River on Saturday morning, according to local authorities. Officials said there is no danger to the public from the derailment or the spills, and no evacuation orders are in effect. There are no reported injuries, which is great that there's no reported injuries. Okay, so there's a blessing there, right? Members of responding crews are on the scene near Riverside Drive. They've contained the diesel fuel that spilled from the locomotive with booms, or barriers, if you will, and are vacuuming it out of the river. I don't know, but I don't really think you can vacuum all of it out of the river. That's just me. I don't deal with the vacuuming of diesel fluid stuff on a daily basis, so I don't really 100% know how it works. I'm not claiming to be a diesel vacuum sucker expert here, but I can guarantee that some of that stuff that's in there is going to stay in there, and it's going to cause some sort of problem for the fishes and everything else. These polypropylene plastic pellets, PPP, if you will, that have also made their way out of their container and into the water, those should get picked up. If not, it's plastic, y'all. So if a fish eats it, it's going to have a really hard time digesting that, just so you're fully aware. So while there may be no imminent danger to humans, there is obviously going to be some danger to the wildlife, whether it's the fishies in the river or the animals along the banks of the river. There's going to be a little bit of something there, okay? Now, look, emergency responders were dispatched to the derailment site at 7:15 a.m. this morning, just east of the Steel City Village, I always say this wrong, Lower Saucon, S-A-U-C-O-N, Saucon, sure. Township Police Chief Thomas Barnt said in a news release, there was a diesel fuel spill into the Lehigh River from the accident, and containment booms have been deployed. There is also a spill of polypropylene plastic pellets from one of the derailed cars. Now, according to this, where is the rest? Okay, here's Norfolk Southern. This is what they said. Norfolk Southern has responded to a derailment in Lower Saucon Township, Pennsylvania. There is no threat to the public, no hazardous material concerns from the rail cars, and no reports of injuries to our crew members. They didn't say anything about other people or animals or anything else, just their crew members. We appreciate the quick professional response by local emergency agencies. Our crews and contractors will remain on scene over the coming days to clean up, and we appreciate the public's patience while they work as quickly, thoroughly, and as safely as possible. We are always working to advance safety. We will investigate this incident to understand how it happened and prevent others like it. Now, I can tell you probably how it happened because Norfolk Southern likes to cut corners. All 3 of those trains were theirs. Oh, I didn't even tell you how it happened. Hold on. Where is my other article I had pulled up about, here it is. So this is how this happened. In case you're curious, how in the HE double hockey sticks, three different trains ended up colliding when technically there should only be 1 rail, right? Or maybe 2, how 3 trains collided. Let me tell you how this happened. So, according to NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, an eastbound train, okay, eastbound train struck a stop train on the same track. So I guess like this, struck a stop train on the same track, and wreckage from the collision landed onto an adjacent track. So it hit here, something went over here, okay, and then that landed onto an adjacent track that was then struck by a westbound train. So then you have crap over here and a train going this way said boom, and like, so just like I said, a cluster, like a huge cluster. Hold on, it got like real sunny outside. It's like uncomfortably bright right now, my bad. So that's how you got this massive cluster of whatever happened. And of course, most train tracks happen to be near water because, you know, That's just how things are. So of course you're going to have a little bit of an incident there. They've only said what spilled towards the water. They have not said anything about those other 2 trains that were involved in whatever. The one that was sitting, did it have anything in it? Who knows? The one that hit the other side, did it have anything in it? Was anything spilled over there? They haven't said. I don't have anything on that. I've gone through like 75 different articles and local stuff. And so far, all they're really talking about are these three container cars right here, right? That's really all they're talking about. So authorities said it was unclear how many cars were involved. Why is it unclear? Like, are you not there? Can you not just walk around and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, it seems pretty simple to me to figure out how many cars are involved. Doesn't sound like rocket science. Sounds like math. And if you can't math, if you can't add 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 to get to the correct number, we have bigger problems there, my dude. So that's what's going on right now. I will keep up with that to let you know if there's any other, what's the word? I don't know. If anything new comes up, I'll let you know about that. I don't think it's going to be anything. This is clearly not in the same realm of what happened in East Palestine, Ohio. There's no vinyl chloride. There's none of this other stuff. This is not the same at all. It is still a derailment, and it's going to cause a little issue on the 2 tracks until they can get things cleaned up. So what will happen, since it is on the eastbound track and the westbound track, or however they want to phrase it, 2 different tracks, you're going to see an issue in delays of materials getting from point A to point B due to this nice little cluster F that has happened here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So just keep that in mind. If you happen to be in that area and you're trying to go out and get supplies for whatever in the next couple of days, you're probably going to have an issue finding a lot of things, because this is probably going to cause some delay in things getting from point A to point B via rail. Not, semis and things like that, but via rail, it might cause an issue. All right, now we're going to get to the nitty gritty of what I want to talk about, Texas and the wildfires in the Texas Panhandle, which, side note, again, is at the top of Texas, not the bottom like I thought where Florida's Panhandle is, because I guess I didn't know what the word panhandle meant, and I just assumed, and you know what happens when you assume? You're wrong as shit on YouTube. So again, my apologies for that. So the fires that are going on, raging, if you will, in Texas right now, I have pulled up from Texas A&M Forest Service incident viewer. I can't talk today. This is where you guys can see right here. It's letting you know exactly what is still going on. So according to this, Smokehouse Creek, which is the big one that we need to talk about the most, it is still active. It is now 15% contained, and it is sitting at 1,780,086 acres already burned. That's a lot of land, okay? Here's the problem. In the Panhandle is where 85% of the beef, the cattle, if you will, in Texas are located, or in the Panhandle of Texas, 85%. The other 15% are scattered throughout the rest of that big honkin' state. Like, Texas is freaking massive, in case y'all don't know. I mean, is big. So 85% of them happen to be in the Panhandle, the place that's currently ablaze, like Hell's Inferno, if you will. You have other places that are 100% contained. Juliet Pass, 100% contained of just under 3,000 acres. You had in Jasper, 100% contained, 5 acres. 687 Reamer, 10% contained, 2,000 acres. You have Mills Creek, 100% contained, 118 acres. Grapevine Creek, 60% contained, that is 30,000 acres. Magenta, just under 3,300 acres, 85% contained. And then Wood 0366, I don't know what the number means, 100% contained, 5 acres. This Smokehouse Creek one, 15% contained at just under 1.1 million acres is the big deal. Now, let me explain to you exactly what this means. Thousands of cattle are being slaughtered as the Smokehouse Creek fire in the Texas Panhandle blazes across 1.1 million acres, according to reports from the area. The word slaughtered is I guess meant to create panic, because it's not like somebody's going out there and purposely killing them, but the fire is killing them. Slaughtered to me feels like the wrong word for this, but this is on USA Today, and they like to, be dramatic, I guess, which they should be dramatic in this case, but it still feels like the wrong word. The fire is leaving destruction and death in its wake and is now 15% contained. Texas A&M Forest Service told USA Today that it is now the biggest fire in Texas recorded history. In the history of all the fires in Texas, this is now the biggest one. The area currently engulfed by flames is not densely populated, but 2 people are confirmed dead. We talked about unfortunately, the 2 women who have been killed by this fire. We talked about them yesterday or the day before. The fire is also a huge threat to cattle. There are millions of cows, calves, steers, and bulls in the area. Let's see, Madison this is a fully Hispanic last name, and I'm going to butcher it by accident. Madison Huaraguito. I don't think you're supposed to pronounce the G, but I don't know how this works. Madison Huaraguito, the director of communications for the Texas Department of Agriculture, told USA Today the department will release an updated number of cattle deaths in a statement soon. Over 85% of the state's cattle population is located on ranches in the Panhandle. This is according to Sid Miller, who is the commissioner for Texas. He is the Texas Agriculture Commissioner. There are millions of cattle out there, with some towns comprising more cattle than people. The losses could be catastrophic for those counties. According to this, Governor Greg Abbott declared a disaster in 60 counties, which we've talked about. And the State of Texas Agriculture Relief Fund, or STAR Fund, is asking for donations that will assist farmers in the Panhandle. So they've started basically like a GoFundMe, if you will, for the farmers in the Panhandle who are going to be severely hurt by this blaze, taking out not just their cattle, but their land. If there's no land, if all the grass is scorched, and these are grass-fed beef if they are, they're not going to be able to feed whatever's left or bring in new cattle or anything like that. It says here, Miller told the New York Times he predicts 10,000 cattle will die in the fire or have to be euthanized. A lot of those cattle are still alive, but the hooves are burned off. The teats on their udders are burned off. It's just a sad, sad situation. Now, let's see. It's hard to watch. This guy named rancher Jeff Chisholm told the New York Times he was still figuring out how many of his 600 cows were lost to the flames. While he found the remains of some, he had to euthanize others. Nearly his entire ranch, which is 30,000 acres, was scorched by the fire. Now, like I said, there's a lot here, but this is what I want to talk about. Well, okay, let me move over here to a different tab. Hold on. I've got like 8,000 tabs open on my computer. But what I want to talk about right now is this. Listen. Okay, where am I at? A 120-year-old cattle ranch in the Texas Panhandle lost about 80% of its land to the fires this week. This is the manager of the Turkey Track Ranch said in a statement. Our early assessment estimates that the Turkey Track Ranch has suffered and lost approximately 80% of our pastures, plains, and creek bottom vegetation. We continue to assess the total damage to other infrastructure and loss of livestock. Let me explain to you why that's important. Turkey Track Ranch, that name. Well, if you go look up Turkey Track Ranch, they just happen to be for sale for $180 million. For 80,000 acres. $180 million. You know it's not worth $180 million? 80,000 acres that have been scorched and your livestock is dead and you are no longer viable or feasible for another ranch or another operation to come in and take over. Your land is no longer worth $180 million. Your land is worth far, far less than that. I just thought that was extremely interesting that one, they happen to be for sale at the same time that these wildfires break out in that area. And not many people can afford $180 million for a ranch or are willing to pay that much. And if it's been on the market for a long time, insurance might cover a whole lot of it. Who knows? Maybe more than not. Or if it happens to go up in flames, there's probably plenty of companies out there who will willingly take that scorched earth off your hand for a highly discounted price. You have 2 different ways this could go. This could be great for the company, the Turkey Track Ranch, who has been for sale and nobody's buying. Nobody's chomping at the bit to buy a $180 million plot of land, right? So these wildfires could be like a godsend for them, if you will, and they just get to chuck it up to insurance money and they get to walk away with something as opposed to continuously having to pay property tax and everything else on something they don't want to use, they're not utilizing, and they can't sell. Or they wanted to sell it, but nobody wanted to pay $180 million for it. So now that it's super scorched and not worth nearly as much, there might be plenty of people who are like, I'll pay you this for it, and cut it in half and basically chop them off at the knees for it. I just thought it was very interesting that it happened to be for sale at the same time a wildfire has pretty much taken out the whole entire thing. It says nearly 80,000 acres under one fence. Historic prize of the Panhandle is legacy of Coble-Wittenberg Empire, known for natural resources and site of battles of adobe walls of 1864 and 1874. Decision to sell comes after 12 decades of stewardship. Icon Global Group to market. I don't even know what the hell that means, but okay. The Turkey Track Ranch was pioneered in the era of legendary W.T. Wagner, 6666, and Goodnight Ranches. If you're in Texas, maybe you know what that means. I don't know. It's like a foreign language to me. Boasting almost 80,000 acres under one fence and some 26 miles of river frontage, the ranch is a rare confluence of natural resources containing an abundance of water, productive fertile grasslands, and diverse wildlife. Really weird time to get dyslexic. Diverse wildlife set within rolling and rugged topography of mesas, draws, valleys, and vistas, interposed with open rangeland, epitomizing the Western ranch lifestyle and famed fertile buffalo plains of yesteryear. That's how they wrote it. They're trying to write like a novel here, I guess. But it's just very interesting that right now it's for sale at the same time this whole thing is going through. Listen, according to this, because I just find it very interesting, the person who owns it, Tom Coble, was a contemporary of Dan and Tom Wagner, whatever that means, of the Wagner Ranch, Samuel Burke Burnett of the Four Sixes Ranch, and Charles Goodnight of the J.A. and Goodnight Ranch. I'm telling you, this sounds like it should be a TV show, kind of like Yellowstone or whatever other TV shows are out there, just based off how everything sounds. Coble recognized the infinite resources of the Southern Great Plains. Like Wagner, Burnett, and Goodnight, he created a cattle kingdom that was sustained by thousands of acres of grass. Later, Wittenberg was the larger-than-life Texas icon, an entrepreneurial modern-day rancher who led the management of the Turkey Track for several decades. Early trendsetter of flying between properties and business interests, he operated several significant ranching interests in Texas and New Mexico, along with other business interests, which included aviation, oil and gas, banking, cattle feed yards. He was also a special Texas Ranger. I mean, this whole thing, if somebody doesn't make a movie about this, I don't even know what to do. This whole thing sounds like it should be a movie. A winner of the Cattlemen's Beef Association Environmental Stewardship Award in 2016, the Turkey Track is also held in high esteem by industry. Pete Bonds, then president of the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association, said Turkey Track has an outstanding record for their environmental stewardship practices, water management programs, and excellent grass diversity. Now, let me explain to you why these wildfires, to me, I'm fully aware that it could be dry up there, it could be windy up there, it could be perfect conditions for it, but because of how many wildfires we've had over the last 12 months throughout the United States and through Canada, I find them all very suspicious at this point, especially at a time when you have more and more companies. Hell, Serena Williams, the tennis player, has just started a plant-based meat company. That's what everybody's doing right now. They're moving away from actual factual meat, right? So now you happen to have these wildfires just happen to break out where 85% of the cattle in Texas live and or are industrial whatever. And you're going to lose cattle, you're going to lose land, you're going to lose all this other stuff. And who does it really benefit? Literally everybody else in the industry of fake meats, the people who want land for cheaper because they want to put some sort of windmill farm up, or they want to put some sort of EV battery place up, or whatever else. Like, think about it. There are so many things on TV right now, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Paramount, Peacock, whatever the hell else you got there, Tubi, blah, blah, blah. So many things right now of them trying to explain to people, like they hide it, making it seem like, beef is bad for you and meat's bad for you and it's blah, blah, blah. But it's because they say that it's bad for the earth because CO2 and, climate change and all this other bullshit that they want to come up with. And so when there's a wildfire like this, again, this is not a conspiracy theory, but it's just the way I look at the world, especially when you can see that the world is trying so hard right now to turn everything away from animal agriculture and into lab grown this or plant-based that or whatever else. When there happens to be wildfires that knock out possibly 85% of animal agriculture, like, hello, are you kidding me? I swear I will be paying attention. And if one single flippin' acre in the Texas area, the Texas Panhandle, is bought by Bill Gates or anybody else in that realm of whatever, I'm going to be like, I told you so. I told you so. I don't like saying I told you so, but I also get some weird satisfaction for being like, see, I'm not stupid. I told you so. It only takes 6 months for a conspiracy theory to become actual, factual, whatever. So, y'all, that's it. I had to tell you about that. When I saw that $180 million ranch was up for sale at the exact same time that some random wildfire breaks out and destroys a lot of it, my eye wants to twitch. Like, really? Really? This is how this works? Out of everywhere else in the country that the fire could have started, that's where we're going? We're 85% of animal agriculture where the beef is? Where's the beef? So that's that. Squirrel Tribe, thanks for letting me have this conversation with you. That's it. I hope you have a fabulous Saturday. No matter where you are in the country, hopefully you're not in a place where there's tornadoes or blizzards or power outages or whatever else, because it's just a cluster throughout. So that's all. I'd love your thoughts on everything we talked about today down in the comment section below, if you will. I wonder how this is going to affect my butcher box. I don't think it will. I think we're safe. I don't know if we're safe. I think we're good on butcher box. I'm thinking where all of the stuff comes from, but I think we're good. A lot of it comes from, I'm not going to lie, the beef, because it's grass-fed, grass-finished, a lot of it comes from Australia, and all the chicken comes from here, but chicken isn't really what's in the Texas Panhandle, so I think we're safe. I think we're good. So that's that. There are links for Butcher Box in the description if you guys want to save $50. I am not sponsored. I just like the stuff that they have. And then there's the organic perfumes from Hervé Lucindy are in the description. Again, not sponsored, just really like their stuff. Patreon is in the description. Technically not sponsored, but it's mine. So self-sponsor? I don't know. But that's there if you guys want to support the channel or check out stuff that's not over here on YouTube because it's over on Patreon. And besides that, I got nothing else right now, but I'll come back with more tomorrow, and hopefully you will come back to see it, join, whatever. Give the video a thumbs up if you like what we talked about today. If not, no harm, no foul. I still love you either way, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.